more integrated way to be connecting on a dialogue with our fan base. Again, the market research tells us when you're streaming, you want more activity. It's not as lean back as linear. And if everyone's moving to that streaming landscape, how are we programming that from an advertising perspective?
Hey, Collette, welcome to the show. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me. We're excited to be here today.
Absolutely. I'm very excited to talk about, influencers / celebrities, social shopping, and going from online to offline again. And before getting in, first of all, I want to know a bit more about yourself. And we have this sort of, it's not a framework, okay? Framework, just a fancy way to say this, but basically it's like 3 questions in one about yourself. And it's called the map. So basically it's the mission, right? So what do you want to achieve? The achievements already, so any milestone in your career or life that you want to share with us. And the last one is the purpose. So why do you do what you do?
My mission, I think best stated, is to successfully drive what's never been done before. And I am absolutely obsessed with doing that, not only in what my job role is, but also my passion in my career is to think about what hasn't been done. How can we do that? How can we look at technology? How do we bring technology into our content experiences? What does that mean for brands? And bring it all together. So that would be my mission, is to conquer the new and next.
Love it. Love it.
In terms of the achievements, things that I'm proud of, every year we put out a new innovation slate. We've been doing this for 6 years at NBCUniversal. What's the new format we're going out with? What's the new content experience? What's a new way to be in Peacock and think about how we bring brands into that and IP, our talent, and how do we marry that all together? One thing that we did for Army was incredible with Nick Jonas, where we were able to use volumetric AR capture to do a living room song. So you bring it in on your phone, you place Nick in his sort of avatarish format, and he's singing to you personally right from your phone. And we were able to create that experience. So I'm always into that new thing, right? Like that new thing and our talent being part of that, and how we can, again, bring brands into that. And that moved an incredible needle for Army, who wanted to be relevant, to Gen Z and how they wanted to really connect differently. And we're able to bring their voice into this in a powerful way.
Amazing. So always try to innovate, right? Being the latest. And this maybe also brings you to the purpose. Like, why do you do that? Is it because you love that so much, or is it something else?
It drives me. It drives me to think about, how does that work, and unpack it and get in it. So not only do I lead the strategy, but I lead the operations. So I think about how does that work from a brand perspective. We're going to probably talk about this 9 million times today, that authenticity is everything that matters when we think about influencer marketing, when we think about innovation. We want it to be authentic to the environment, authentic to the audience. It needs to matter and resonate with everybody. But when that all starts to hum because you figured it out, that is an incredible, incredible feeling. So it drives me. It drives me to figure it out and see it come to life.
Oh yeah, I really like what you say, thinking also then operational, because many times there are people that think about it, but then they leave the operation to someone else, and there is this sort of gap, right? And it's in translation. So I really like the idea that you go from the thinking, operation, and out to, right? And this is the sort of optimization, tool, and loop, right, all the time, I would say.
1,000%. And you learn so much from being in the weeds, right?
Oh, yes.
We get in deep. How does that work? How does that get captured? How is that going to transcend? How do we distribute it? What's the strategy so people see it? You can't just do something incredible and it falls in the woods by itself. So you really, that the details are what can inform a bottoms up, right? In a way, for a lot of our thinking. So we get in it.
NBCUniversal, a lot of history, a lot of different brands under, the umbrella. And you said, you said the word talent. So first of all, even before getting the power of, talents, influencers, and so on, how do you, because you said talent, you didn't say influencers, you didn't say content creators, because nowadays on social media, there is always these things like, are you a content creator? Are you an influencer? And in this case, when it comes to TV, also it's celebrities, right? They're been there for a long time. So first of all, is there a preferred way where you said talent before? So is that the way you go usually, or it depends by the type of person and personas that you usually look at?
It is about the personas. We think
Mhm.
about things from creators. We think about things as influencers. We think about things from talent. We built something called, and I did it in lockstep with our talent team, is we built something called the talent room. How do we bring every talent and influencer, and it is completely, the backbone is supported by Creator IQ, so that when you're searching for who do you want for your brand, or to really be authentic voice for your brand, you're looking at who's a pet owner, right? If it's Petco, who is, who's really speaking to Gen Z in a more powerful way, for example, for Army. But then also you have some micro influencers that you might not see right now
Mhm.
aren't within our ecosystem. They're not on Peacock, they're not in NBC, but you know what? We have brought them into our environment. So Remy Bader was really made her voice known on TikTok. She's a huge influencer in the Bravo ecosystem, the Bravo community. I think community is a really key word for a lot of what we talk about. And we brought her in for a commerce live stream a couple of years ago, and it really resonated with our audiences and our fan base. So we look at, who's in the culinary space we want to bring in over on Access, who's really making a name for themselves in crafting, and bring them into the Kelly Clarkson show. How are we looking at, influencers within the Today space? We have the Hispanic community on Telemundo, same thing. Who are we bringing into some of our video content, our linear content, our Peacock streaming content, but also our social content? So we're programming by every platform, every medium. We're not just one way. And creators, talent, and influencers are the crux of that. I would say they're the ones that are driving the most, driving the meaning, that connection to our communities.
And once you have like them in this talent room, right? So you identify them. After that, there is usually like, the messaging, the tone of voice. Have you identified anything that works specifically for your audience, or also in the case it depends by, I guess, the show? But is there like anything that you identify as a winner when it comes to, again, the messaging that you go out?
Yeah, I mean, there was I'd love to illustrate in real life. So
Really?
Giselle on Telemundo, we had brought her into an Aquaphor custom experience, where not only is she using Aquaphor, that bringing the brand messaging of Aquaphor to her child,
Mhm.
as well as her grandmother, the grandmother of the child, her mom, multi-generational story around Aquaphor, and bringing that to the Hispanic community. It brought relevance for Aquaphor in a meaningful way, but that was done through Giselle. It was done through her voice. It was done through her experience. It was done through her true family. And that was all brought into a custom content experience. And that's a straightforward content experience. It's not using too much technology, but that basis of being able to really connect at the core to who is the creator, who is the influencer, who is the talent, and what can they say, and what is that meaning? A lot of brands come to us and say, this is what our brand ethos is. And we take that brand ethos, and then we look at a creator, we look at a talent or an influencer. Again, it's all interchangeable in our worlds. And I love the idea of just influencing, because that's what it is. It's bringing their ethos, the brand ethos, and then what platform are we really talking about it? How are we talking about it? So it doesn't square peg round hole. It fits. Like, you are just making everything hum and synergize amongst the talent as well as the brand. So when we look at our Bravo celebrities who have huge influences, our brands come to us, like Nexus for this latest one with BravoCon. They have an unbreakable hair care line. They leaned into Kyle. Kyle couldn't have been more absolutely on point for that brand, and marrying her incredible hairstyle, bringing that through into BravoCon, continuing that conversation to a mega moment in time, and putting that brand on a spotlight, but done in the right way. So, I mean, it was absolutely synergistic. She had the payoff, obviously, at BravoCon, was talking about it authentically. Everyone wants and says to us, have them do it in their voice, right? If it's not in their voice, it just comes across as I'm just talking your product, and it's not meaningful. But when you're creating a storyline like Erin on Real Housewives of New York, she has a mezcal line. Like, she has her own. She's an entrepreneur in her own right. How do we connect that and think about that synergy when we pair them with something like a DoorDash, right? And so we're really thinking about who they are, what is their lives about, like that multi-generational story for Aquaphor with Giselle. What's Erin, who's an entrepreneur, and how's that coming into play? Just Kyle and her complete essence of beauty, and how does that come into play? We look at all of these and really think through, how does that resonate? What are we saying? And then how does that really move the needle for brands?
Is your brand ready to amplify its reach? Well, the Influencer Marketing Factory is here for you. We are a global influencer marketing agency helping brands ignite their growth. From influencer identification to campaign strategy, handling legalities and agreements, to managing shipping and logistics, we got you all covered. We work with hundreds of brands across different verticals, from Fortune 500 companies to direct-to-consumer brands. And we don't just stop there. With detailed ROI analysis, we help brands like yours measure success, transforming impressions into conversions. You can find us at theinfluencermarketingfactory.com or just searching the Influencer Marketing Factory on Google. No, it makes sense. And that's why, it could be social media, could be TV, could be, any other medium, but it's about really the trust that you put in someone. And it's correctly said, it's about their own personality. You trust the person because you like that, because they are. If they have to change it or go more scripted, as you can see, everyone nowadays can understand, okay, that is scripted, that is fake, that is staged. I don't like it, right? I will not trust that person anymore. And so continuing on that, like when you said about the synergy, right? And marrying content and commerce, especially these days with online shopping, live stream shopping, social commerce, there is so much happening. What are some of the best way, in your opinion, with your talents when it comes to that? So you said authenticity for sure, and your tone of voice. Any other things that you're seeing working well when it comes to, again, marrying together content and commerce?
Yeah, pairing that technology. So we work with a company called Fireworks. So when you're able to connect in the content experience, don't have FOMO to click out to shop, but you're able to shop within the content experience, go through the cart experience, and you're continuing that moment with the talent. You're interacting, you're putting in, that's awesome, I love it, you're hearting it, everyone's all in, and you're able to have that real-time dialogue and shop without having to go, I'm going to click out, open a new tab in the phone, and it gets all kind of wonky. When you're able to keep that self-contained in that community connection and keep the commerce going, I think you're looking at all angles and you're doing it in the right way. So one thing we've noticed a lot in what we continue to evolve to in the Peacock space is to look at how people check out from content, because it's not how people check out from an Amazon or, a Walmart shopping experience or an Instacart shopping experience, any of our incredible partners there. But it is a dialogue you have started with a community, a fan base. So if you started this dialogue, do you need them to transact right there? Does it matter? Or does it matter that they could add something to cart and you can tell them, hey, add that to your wish list. We'll keep talking to you about that. Do you want to purchase that? We can, send you push notifications that, that's something that's in your cart and you can check out later. That's how we're evolving the content and commerce space. We're not trying to mirror a transaction. We're trying to evolve a commerce experience. And so when we talk about experience in content, we bring it to you, we inspire it. Like we just launched, very exciting this week with Walmart and Below Deck. We inspired the Below Deck finds that you can get on Walmart. So very aspirational to be a yachty, right? Like, wow, that's incredible. You can get those pillows, you can get that type of apparel, you can get those sunglasses, you can get that look, bringing it into the attainable with Walmart. And we're inspiring that moment. Now, do you transact in that moment? Do you not transact in that moment? No, but we teed it up, right? Now we're bringing you into discovery. We're bringing you into that possibility. We're bringing in a fan connection point. We're uplifting and bringing Walmart as an incredible technology and incredible forward thinking in the content and commerce space with NBCUniversal, with the Bravo community, and everyone starts to work together on this. Our work cut out for us ahead, which is, again, so exciting for us, is the technology. How are we checking out with the remote? How are we transcending the QR code? How are we bringing it for a click payment to your one identity, right? Like really clean tech ways to be able to connect to commerce and content, but not expecting it to be traditional, expecting it to be a new way to do it.
And I'm glad that you're saying this because we ran a couple of reports, one about social commerce and one about live stream shopping. And we noticed that anytime that the user experience is poor, the checkout experience is poor, you have to add, again, your information. You have to go to another tab and losing the streaming. When it's like not smooth, people nowadays, they're used to, instant gratification. I want to buy in the moment. I don't want to do 1,000 different things, right? So they expect that. So I really like that you're talking about that. So in addition, and we can go more in depth into this, in addition to the tech part, something also very interesting and important and crucial nowadays, it is the ROI analysis, tracking, everything like that. So when it comes to new formats, you said that you all the time experiment and test things.
Yeah,
what are some of the KPIs and metrics, and how do you track everything just to be sure, okay, this works, this was an experiment that it failed? Do you have like a framework in place that is the same? How does it work usually?
I wouldn't say it's the same, but we have a framework, we have a construct in place and how that construct gets evolved. So when we look at something like we're going to launch on Must Shop TV on Peacock, that's what we call it, where you're able to shop the episode and you're able to connect to a seamless cart experience, because that clunkiness really matters. The minute you have clunkiness, all your conversion falls through the window.
Mm-hmm.
Where we go into market, what do consumers want to expect from a commerce experience? Is the QR code intrusive? Is it too big? How would you like to have it? What would be your dream state? Really get some marketplace intel. If we had a wish listing, would that more resonate? Would you be more likely? We hear a lot from our market testing, whether that's survey based, whether that's in lab, whether that's already when it gets deployed, what is the feedback that's coming back to us? For example, I was just working with our measurement team on this post analysis of BravoCon, the shopping on the ground. How did they like it? What would they like to see? What was missing? Did you buy things? What did you not like? Really getting that consumer feedback, because when we think something's cool in isolation over here, it's not helpful if that's not how consumers want it to be. So we build it for fans, right? Like that's the entire point. It's a complete experience for them. And if it's not catered to them, we're doing a huge disservice on our side. So measurement is our starting point, our middle point, our end point, and then flywheel it back around again, because we need to look at the post analysis to say what worked, what didn't work, what needs to be dropped, how do we iterate? It's exactly what we're doing right now. What is working? Why is it not working? And how can we involve and improve that product? Mm-hmm. But also, how are we launching something new? And continuing to look at that something new. And so that measurement is 1,000% our backbone.
And, it should be like, I would say, common sense for the majority of the brands. But to me, it's crazy that sometimes brands don't ask their community what they want to see. And they create things, right? Without asking them, we're like, oh, we didn't sell these. Like, of course, because that's not what your community and your consumer loves, right? So I like that you said before, during, and after, right? It's this loop all the time. You have to have that in consideration all the time. And you mentioned multiple times BravoCon. So first of all, what is BravoCon for people?
BravoCon is a 3-day extravaganza for Bravo fans. It is a coming together of community and like-minded spirits who watch these incredible reality programs as if these are your best friends, your neighbors, your aspirational sort of lifestyles that you want to attain. It's fun, it's connective, and I would say that is just an incredible infrastructure of influencers, from the Real Housewives franchise, which has just done, a tremendous amount within the individual cities and continues to grow, to the Below Deck franchise, which goes through, what we just did with Below Deck Mediterranean, right? That franchise has grown and established itself. Married to Medicine, and Andy Cohen being such a crux of that community and a connector of that community. What it did is brought everyone together. It brought them into that life. You could take the selfies as if you're at Winter House, right? And, we feel that Aspen glow, and we're able to bring like a Wayfair, and how would you outfit that from a furniture standpoint if it was your Winter House, and how can then that be attainable to you? We're bringing brands into that ecosystem, fans into that ecosystem, and pulling it all together. So it's a 3-day event. It was done in Vegas. We just literally got back from it. So if this is a little tired, fly. But it was incredible to see the shopping that happens there, because we had over 50 bizarre booths of small businesses that haven't been able to come into our ecosystem and really be able to bring them in as a new brand to these fans and drive not just that brand affinity, but that attention to them that they didn't normally get because they're small entrepreneurs really getting their feet and growing. And then being able to have a whole infrastructure for these incredible influencers who are small business owners who can sell their products. So whether that's a Loverboy hat, or that's a Tom Tom t-shirt, or that's Aaron's mezcal, like it's able to really bring these small business owners who are influencers and bring that and connect to fans. So it is an on the ground experience that we brought wide with, our e-com sites that we've catered to it, our ad innovations to drive to that e-com site. So we have a lot that we kind of anchor around and build around. We even had a shopping panel that we now air on Peacock. So we really brought all different angles together. So it doesn't just stay in Vegas for those 3 days and it's over. It really lives on because we're a powerful publisher and we're able to do that and bring the powerful, content at distribution at scale to these brands and to these influencers.
Yeah, no, what is really exciting is that either with TV and lately in the past, 10 years, even with social media, people used to only have this sort of unilateral communication, right? It was like the celebrity to the people, right? And that was about it. And then social media also, you were maybe sending this video to a bunch of people. But then in the past years, finally, with all this, let's not call it conference, but way to get all together, you finally have this bilateral communication, right? You have this way where you can talk and take a selfie with your favorite talents, right? And, you can go from offline to online to offline again, right? And having these synergies, right? Between what you can see, what you can then experience in person, right? So I like when you said also about the Bravo Bazaar, right? So you said it was there, but then you can also buy it still online, right?
Yeah.
So how does it work there? Do you also do some analysis there and then you understand what to put online, or do you use the online then for the offline, or it is both them together? Just for me to understand, how do you go from, again, what you see, the in-person experience, and then putting them again online, and then in the next BravoCon, what to bring there in person and so on. So I would like to know a bit more behind the scene there.
No, absolutely. It's about 25 to 30,000 people that attend the conference over the time.
Wow.
It's a tremendous, just sheer number of volume of people, but that's not everybody. So how are we being able to bring a piece of that to everybody? So we merchandise on the ground. You have, as I said, all of these incredible talent entrepreneurs, as well as clients that came into this, a lot of small, medium-sized businesses. And then we created ground up our digital ecosystem, so our e-com site that supported them. It's backed by something we call NBCU checkout. So your cart experience, you're not having this checkout over here and that checkout over here. You could add whoever and whatever, from the small and medium-sized businesses to different talent brands, add it into your cart and have one cart experience, and it pings them on the back end so that then they fulfill. So we created a marketplace of which we brought in and organized it by, the Nexus hair care products are there, as well as, the Loverboy products. So you really have a tremendous number of products that you're able to bring into it. Craig Conover from from Southern Charm has his business called Sewing Down South. So you're able to shop the pillows, you're able to shop Kenya's candles and have a one cart experience. And so it's completely merchandised in the right way. You're able to search by talent, you're able to search by brands, but everyone has their own brand site. So if they want to drive direct traffic just to their brand site, it's there. And then you have this incredibly customized homepage where you're able to bring people in through all of the shopping that's at their disposal for the entire suite of brands that have come onto our ecosystem. And with the one cart checkout, you're not making it clunky. Like we talked about, clunkiness is if I have to click that and another window pops open for me to check out, how annoying. And it's one input of your cart. So it's a very clean way to shop.
And is it the same also for the Project Runway, the Peacock? Is it because, something very cool is that, and if you think about the past 10 years of social media and the website and forums, people are like, I love this dress. Where do you buy it, right? All the conversation with that. Now, finally, you can just see that the episode, I can go click on the dress that I like, and I go with the checkout, right? So what is also the process there? Like, it is for all the things that you can see, there is a selection there based on the demand. How does it work?
Yeah, and it's a deep process, and it's a fun process. We kick it off with every show after it gets greenlit. Project Runway was one of my favorites because we were able to bring in those designers and their designers. So we brought in their accessories, and you're able to shop. That designer made this scarf set, and we're able to support them as a designer who's in competition. Whether they win or don't win, they're all winning on our e-commerce site. So we create what we call the branded microsite, which is completely Project Runway branded. And now we're starting to pull them in. So if you shop Project Runway, you can go shop BravoCon. You shop BravoCon, you can go shop, Top Chef, right? And bring in chef testants and some of their products. And so it's an ecosystem of commerce within a community that supports each other and brings you through it. And again, it's one cart. So it's incredibly easy to be able to do that. So when we let's take Project Runway, for example. As soon as that's greenlit, we met with all of the designers of the latest episode. We said, we have this e-com site. Who would do you have brands? Do you have an e-com site that's up and running? Can we plug you in? We'd love to support you. We'd love for you to be a part of this. And then we looked at our brand partners who are in the show. Pilot pens, when you're designing and you're sketching, how can you shop the latest Pilot pen innovation that they have? And bringing that together in a way that makes sense, right? Like, it's all about designing and what they designed and what you can shop. I mean, down to being able to buy some of the sketches that they have created. So it is about the creators on that show, but it is also about the brand partners who have been integrated into that show. And some of our brands who might not necessarily have a big voice that you've seen in the show, like a big integration. They might not have a big moment, but we bring them into the e-com site. So OXO pots and pans on Top Chef, you're able to shop those on our site. So we really think about it from every angle, and it's about the fans. We're putting that fan first lens.
No, yeah, I like the idea of having not silos, but actually having the talents, right? That they can cross their communities, because you might be interested in a dress and at the same time in a pan for your kitchen, right? Like, it's not one or the other, right? Actually, also getting that together, I think it makes a huge difference, a lot of sense. And Eva, last question for you today. So again, at the beginning, you said that your mission and achievements and purpose is all about what is next, right? So my question is, what is the future of advertising? Like, where are we heading, right? And how specifically here, like, NBCUniversal and Peacock and other different brands are positioning, like, themselves to stay ahead of this curve, right? And always evolving landscape.
Yeah. See, how do you create a deeper connection? What's a more integrated way to be connecting on a dialogue with our fan base? Again, the market research tells us when you're streaming, you want more activity. It's not as lean back as linear. And if everyone's moving to that streaming landscape, how are we programming that from an advertising perspective? How are we bringing brands into that? The creator space, as it constantly evolves, what's the new and next social? I mean, Threads dropped, and, what does that look like? And what does that continue to be? What's the new next there? How we programming to that platform matters. How we program to X is not how we program to Instagram. So we're going to look at each new evolving new platform and how are we in that space, but how are we in that space meaningful, right? And how are we talking to our fan base? We look at where our fans are going, where are fans getting our content. When you look at the SNL clips doing gangbusters on YouTube, they're getting content that's stripped, as a short form. And how is that consumed? I think we have to constantly look and be very real with ourselves of where are they consuming the content? How are they consuming the content? How do they like to be spoken to? What does that interaction feel like, so that we evolve it? My team, I lead a team who is incredible. And the other thing that drives me every day is my team, because they're just phenomenal, is we look at the new partners out there. What's the new tech out there? We partnered with Curve AI to be able to scan the content, match that content to products at Walmart in Walmart's catalog, and utilizing our partners Brightline to be able to have a carousel unit to be able to shop it. It's just bringing everyone together in a really cool way to be able to think about what that experience is. So, who is those next brand partners that we should be talking to? that AR technology that we did for Army still blows me away. I'm obsessed with it. We created a whole metaverse shopping experience. We could create your avatar and shop different rooms, from Project Runway room into the winter house and summer house rooms. And so that technology we created with Obsess, and we love working with them, and they're incredible partners. So we think about technology partners as a partner, true partner, for us to be able to create incredible experiences. And we're always mining who's the next, what's the next, so that we can create those together.
So overall, like being proactive and not reactive, right?
Proactive is a big game.
Not many brands do that, so I really appreciate when there are some that are like, bold and like, I will not wait to be too like, outdated, but actually I'm going to be the one that makes the trends, right? That makes a huge difference. Is there anything else that you want to add? Anything else that I didn't ask you today, or last remarks?
No, I think, and I think last remarks would be within influencers. They don't have to have made a name in our community. They are making their own name, and then we're tapping them in to be able to come in and connect. And I think I love what we're doing with the creator economy. I love how we're thinking about the creator space and how we're utilizing, measurement partners like Creator IQ to be able to bring that at a meaningful depth down to a science, really a measurement science of connecting with brands. And so I'm excited to keep evolving in the creator space and what we can be doing there, because there's such a tremendous wealth of the connectivity there. And the more technology that we're bringing to that, they're creating the content, and we're having the communities and have a louder megaphone for their voice, and what we, better together, right? Always. So I'm excited. I'm excited on our pathway there.
I'm sad as well. It's, very, 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 very new. Even it's not that new, but it's still very new compared to other things. So I'm quite excited to see that as well. Collette, thank you so much for joining me today, for sharing all your knowledge with your our audience today. And this was the Influence Factor by the Influencer Marketing Factory. I'll see you next week.
Thank you.